We're Josh and Petra, and we retired early to travel the world. Our goal? 70 countries on 7 continents by age 70. So follow along to see how it all unfolds.
Hi everyone, welcome to our channel. I'm Petra.
And I'm Josh.
And we are 70 by 70 Travels with Josh and Petra. So we are starting this new adventure in life, and this is our very first video to help you get to know us a little bit more, what our channel is going to be about, and if you're interested, to come along for the journey. So just a little bit about us.
So I've been working as a registered nurse at the Veterans Hospital since 2014, so about 11 years now. Working bedside and in the oncology med-surg ward, and I've been teaching at the university, bedside clinical education for students. I'm currently 54 years old, and I'm originally from Pennsylvania. I came to Indianapolis, Indiana, where we reside now, in 1999, right after I graduated with a bachelor's degree in chemistry. I originally was working for Eli Lilly, manufacturing medication, and I found the lab work a little bit tedious, so I got into originally occupational health and safety, which allowed me to interact more with other people. And eventually, unfortunately, that job kind of went away, and I had to find a new career. And in that time, I decided to get into nursing because I was dating Petra, who was in the nursing program. And I loved medicine and science, and I still liked to interact socially with people, and so nursing was really an excellent fit, and it's been a good career.
So a little bit about me. I'm originally from Illinois, and I moved over here to Indiana, where he said we currently reside, in Indianapolis in 2000. Now I'm also a nurse, but that is not my first degree. I graduated in 98 with a degree in speech language pathology, but I moved to Indiana to go to Ball State, chirp for if there's any Ball Staters out there. And I got my master's degree in student personnel administration and higher education. And my contract period was for 4 years. So when my contract period ended, that's when I decided to stay at Ball State and get my nursing degree. And so I was in nursing school is when we met. And he kind of mentioned how Josh was going through kind of like that need to change his careers. So after asking me some questions, he went into nursing school, and I finished my nursing degree, my bachelor's. Shortly after, I did go on for my master's degree. And I've done a variety of things in healthcare, worked on different types of units, but I currently work at a university, and I teach pre-licensure baccalaureate nursing students, and I do love my job. We don't have any children. We do have 4 fur babies, so we have family and friends who are adopting them as we go on our travel adventures. So a little bit about our travel background. We both have come from a background where it involved travel and really had learned to love travel. I grew up after the age of 10, my parents divorced. So I was mostly with my mom, a single mom, and going to Colorado every summer was part of that custody agreement. So we would travel to Colorado and spend the summers with my dad. And in the meantime, the other type of travel opportunities that my mom would try to create those for us would be mostly focused in the United States. It wasn't really until my first trip overseas, which happened to be about 6 months after 9/11. But nobody was wanting to travel at that time, and I understand. But in my mind, it was a great opportunity to travel, a great time period, I should say, to travel, because security was really heightened. And we got amazing deals. So my sister, myself, and my sister's roommate, we traveled to Rome. And I just fell in love with traveling. But when I was going to nursing school, didn't have a lot of opportunity to do traveling. The schedule and finances just didn't work for that. However, after Josh and I started dating, we did some more traveling, mostly, cruise opportunities. And that love just flourished every time we have traveled since. And one of the things I know that we've always commented on when we travel is like, oh my gosh, I wish we could do this full time. And that dream has now become a reality. So I'm so looking forward to our future travels. Give Josh an opportunity to talk about his travel background.
So I'm half German. My mother's German, my father's American. He married my mother when he was in the service in the Army, stationed in Germany. And I was their firstborn son. I was born here in the United States, but my mother took me back about once every 3 years to Germany. We'd spend the summer living with her family and getting to know the German way of life, which I absolutely loved and adored. And of course, my grandmother, who sent me Legos and chocolate every Christmas, certainly helped that. I really enjoyed that as well. So I learned a lot about Germany, which I really loved, and a little bit about France, because they live right on the French border. And I think that's really where my drive for travel came from. I feel like that was probably the beginnings. And as I got older, after serving in the Army myself for a few years, also in Germany, I was in college and I started traveling on my own independently. And in those days, I had very little money, but I had a car, and so I would drive to visit friends all over the United States, and I got to see parts of the United States that way. And eventually, some of those friends grew up and moved overseas, and so I got a chance to go overseas. I got to see Berlin, and as I got older, I also went back to Germany on my own a couple times. And I had a friend, an exchange friend, who lived in Lublin, Poland, and that was very exotic for me to travel. I traveled by train from Berlin to Lublin, which is on the opposite side of the country, almost all the way to Russia. Didn't know a lick of Polish, and just kind of went on a wing and a prayer. But you know what? I had a great time with him, and it was the adventure, getting out there and seeing things for the first time. I remember feeling nervous and anxious, but then at the same time, once I dove into it, I was just like, I just love this. So travel is kind of in my blood, and that's a lot of the reason, that's a big driver for why we've decided to kind of stop now, to stop working full time and hit the road, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
So part of the process of hitting the road is we thought we'd go ahead and try and capture everything on video, everything we're doing, everything we're thinking about, not just the travel places we visit, but all the things that we encounter and the things we learn along the way, and just talk about it. We'll have it in video for ourselves to watch when we get too old to move anymore, and at the same time our family and friends can follow us as we go, and hopefully you will also get an opportunity to do so.
One of the things that really helped us decide that this is something that we can do is that we have followed other people, and we have been inspired by their stories, and really sitting down and looking and like, we can really do this. And so that's one of the things that motivated us to put our dreams more on paper and say, okay, we're going to do this. It's a little bit scary, leaving almost everything that you know behind and traveling full time. Because quite honestly, the majority of our travel time is when we go on vacations. And as typically for Americans, our vacations are usually, 1 to 2 weeks. So we loved what we were doing, but we're getting to see snippets of the countries and of the people and the food and the different cultures, right? So it is a little bit scary knowing that you're leaving everything behind. Like, we're in the process of, selling everything so that we can go. But our hopes is that maybe just besides our friends and family, that we can also be an inspiration for somebody else who is interested in doing this thing that we're doing, realizing that it's actually possible. Or if you're not interested in doing that but want to follow along with our journeys, that's quite okay too. So that's really one of the things that we have decided to do, is create this YouTube channel for both of those reasons. For people who want to follow along, friends, family, new friends of the channel, that just want to see parts of the world, or say, hey, you know what? They're really inspiring me. I'm learning a lot from them. Let's do it. So that's one of the reasons for this YouTube channel. And one of the things that we're like, what are we going to call the channel? Well, we had a goal when we started traveling a lot seriously. We created a goal of 70 countries, 7 continents by the age of 70. And we, kept looking, what should we name the channel? What should we name the channel? We know a lot of people just use their names, and we kind of consider that, but we kept coming back to that goal. 70 countries, 7 continents by 70. That's kind of a mouthful. So we did kind of agree to kind of shorten a little bit to 70 countries as 70 by 70, so the age of 70. So it's 70 by 70 travels with Josh and Petra, and that's what the 70 by 70 represents. 70 countries by the age of 70.
One of the things that we wanted to do, at least for this first video, was to kind of talk about, just briefly, some of the things that we intend to talk to everybody about, that we've encountered on our plan to do just this. This is a lot to do. I mean, we've got a house full of stuff that we spent years to fill, and we're trying to get rid of it all in less than a year, and that's really hard to actually do. And so we'll be talking about how we get to that. But there are other topics we'd like to talk about. So for one thing, we're going to be trying out some new equipment and clothing. Merino wool. I'm now finding out what merino wool is. Anybody who's been a camper or maybe a long traveler for a while, they all know about merino wool. I'm learning about it. I think it's the coolest stuff. So we'll have probably a video where we talk about the clothing, including the merino wool, and other things that we found that are really cool and are going to be very helpful to us, and then the equipment that we'll be using, whether it's the filming equipment, the editing equipment, or anything that we need for travel, because we're going to be traveling kind of light, and it's important that what we do have is durable and that is useful also. We don't want to be taking anything we don't need, like a beach ball or something like that. So in addition to this, we're going to be building this YouTube channel, and that is involved, and we'll talk about that process. And then also the last thing I want to mention that is really important is obviously the finances, right? How are we going to do this financially? Well, that's a huge segment, and really was something we had to think about first before we even came to the conclusion that we were going to even attempt this. So that's a big topic, and we'll certainly be spending a lot of time talking about different subjects with respect to finances.
Yeah, and some other things that we'll cover on the channel. These are just examples, like downsizing, right? So getting rid of everything, getting rid of all our belongings, how we did it, what I want to say, like, what avenues did we do to get rid of everything? I mean, I think it's easy enough, right, to pack everything up and go and take it and donate it, and I'm sure we'll probably do some of that in the end. But there are different methods that you can utilize to downgrade and to get rid of your belongings. Some other things is that we do have some planned trips between now and when we start to leave, which is in April. So we're still planning those trips in addition to planning for when we leave, right? So I mean, we're about a year out. What is our schedule going to be like? Where are we looking at? You know, what cities? How long are we going to be there? What kind of things are we going to experience while we're there? When are we going to move? How long can we stay in a certain location? So, you know, completing some of those future travel plans, but then also our current travel plans. Some of the other things that we might cover is, and I think Josh may have mentioned this, but, you know, is thinking about what is the type of equipment that we need in order to do this thing that we want to call YouTube, right? So doing a lot of research on it. Once you buy it, we got to practice with it, get comfortable with it before you know, we leave. And so these are just some examples. I imagine that as we progress through this year, there's going to be other things that come up that we're like, wow, we found a really great way to proceed forward with this. Maybe found some really great products that we feel will fit our needs as we're traveling forward that we'd like to share with you. So that's kind of what I think where we're saying, as between now and April of 26, when we leave, this is some of the things that we would like to cover, is the real applicable part of this process. You know, not just, you know, kind of the big dreamy theory stuff, but what does it really take in order to do this? That real application. And then, you know, peppered along the way, we'll also bring things from video and knowledge from those trips that we have already planned.
And of course, anything that we encounter along the way that is a new issue that we haven't thought of, and I'm sure there will be plenty of those, and how we dealt with them, and how we processed solving our issue, if there was any, and if there's anything that we can offer, you know, as a solution to you. Maybe you have a similar issue. All of those things will be very important. And good topics, and should be and will be discussed in separate videos. But I'm also looking forward to doing a lot of videography like we have in the past. We've been posting everything on Facebook every time we went on a trip, and everybody said, oh, well, you should just start a YouTube channel. And the whole time we were like, yeah, sure, we don't have enough time. And
but now we will.
Yeah, now we're going to have the time for it. That's right. So hopefully the things that we captured their imagination with on Facebook, will also be able to continue to do that on YouTube, and, you know, bring you along as well. You know, maybe you'll find some things that you really enjoy, you know.
So we were just hoping that this first video would give you a little bit of a glance of who we are, what we kind of want to do with our channel, and hopefully that's an inspiration, you know, for you.
Yes. And so if this sounds like something that you're interested in, please give us a thumbs up, subscribe to our channel, and turn on your notifications. That way you'll be notified when we post some new videos, and join us on our journey of 70 countries, 7 continents by age 70 with Josh and Petra.
Hello everyone, welcome to our new channel, 70 by 70. I should have already stopped. Hi everyone, welcome to our new channel. Hi everyone, welcome to our channel. I'm Josh.